Alright, what goes on in the courtroom? I'm going to give you a little heads up in preparation, and this is not for anyone who would abuse this information. If you've done something wrong, your best bet is to face the music and go pay the price, pay the piper. So anyway, what will generally go on if you've been falsely accused is you will show up in the courtroom and you will be called up and you will swear in, and you will have a little bit of a go back and forth. The judge will the plaintiff will usually go first, I believe, and then you will be allowed a chance to respond or ask any questions. In that time, they'll also play or show any evidence, but you will be allowed a rebuttal. And when that moment comes, that is where you better say the exact right thing, because you're not going to be allowed to get up there and give a huge speech. This is kind of like an assembly line thing, and this is one of the problems where they're kind of skirting the juries, and they're they've taken worst case scenarios where men have really actually brutalized women, and now they've become very relaxed. They've applied that across the board now, so that if your girlfriend attacks you, because I'm guessing this is kind of what happened. Your girlfriend got mad. She came at you or was pushing you or shoving you or slapping you, and you either restrained her or you pushed her off of you. Maybe you called on her phone and you called her a bitch and this or that, and then you either got a phone call and then a knock at your door, and it was the police, and you were given a restraining order, and she's not telling the full story. She's just saying, there's usually some vague description: he attacked me, he punched me and broke my cheekbone, or he stabbed me. Or it's usually, if it's a false accusation, then usually it's a very obscure claim, and that's where you have to come in. And when you get your chance to speak, you have to say something along the lines, I'm not understanding why you're saying I attacked you, but you're saying that you didn't incur any kind of damage from that attack. There's no evidence of any wrongdoing here, so there's no claim against me. You have to take advantage of that moment right there. Now, a lot of times what will happen is the woman can then just say generally that you're crazy and she's in fear for her life, and you will be given a restraining order anyway. And if that happens, then that's the breaks. And my advice at that point, is to, as far as any charges, you need to immediately, and you can look at my other videos, you need to, another thing too is, while you're planning out what it is you're going to say at that point when you're allowed to speak, you better be hiring a private investigator to get a real investigation done as into how you somehow brutally attacked this woman but didn't leave any evidence. Now, she doesn't have to talk to the private eye, but it definitely doesn't look good for her if she doesn't. This is all the best advice I can give you. I mean, this is generally, in my view, how these false accusations work. Now, one of the things to point out is in the courtroom, it's already a conflict of interest, because it's you against a government agent, which is the judge, and the female who is already obviously pissed off at you. So, nobody has your welfare or best interest in mind. So you're on your own, and if you can't afford a lawyer, man, you better be a very good speaker, or my advice is, if you can't afford a good lawyer, definitely hire a private investigator. They're not that expensive. So yeah, and generally, if she's still successful in getting the restraining order, and this is why MGTOW guys need to start learning about the system, and trying to not let them skirt our Fourth Amendment right for a jury trial. Anyway, without very good reason. Anyway, at that point, you want to stay around witnesses all the time. You do not want to contact. You want to go about your life. You want to forget about it, and you might even want to keep a journal of where you are and when you're at places, so that if suddenly she decides, she's upset at you, wants to get back at you, and says, you violated your restraining order, you can find out what day or whatever she said that, and you can at least, go find some people that you were with and have them be witnesses for you. I mean, it's not, I wish it, unfortunately, the way things are, it's like, even witnesses, it takes a lot of work, I hear, to get witnesses introduced. You got to wait for it all to go to trial if she says you violated your restraining order. I mean, but once again, if that happens, you need to get a private investigator if they're lying. And other than that, that's the best advice I can give you. And good luck. And I'm not a lawyer, but this is a bad situation we're in, and there's really no orthodox way to go about this. I'm just telling people what has worked for me, and what I have done to stay out of jail. And I hope everything works out for you. And once again, this is not information for anyone who has abused anybody to try to get out of trouble. It's for people who are being falsely accused, and I hope it helps somebody. Thank you very much. Have a good night.